and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. I'm Jade Harrell, and I'm joined by Ivy Hartman, Jamie Ballantyne Dobie, and Amber Clear. And we are so glad to be back and talking about service this time of year. So I've got to know, how are you being in service? What are you doing to be of service? I went right to you, too.
I'm driving here. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I going to say? And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, we do volunteer at church, you know, and we go and we help the youth in our community where we live. But I got to be honest with you, even though my other full-time job is working with high school students, I was at work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. last night, right? And so I was thinking, that feels like I'm serving.
It counts.
Even though that's my paycheck and my benefits and stuff like that. So I'm eager to hear how y'all, and I'm really eager to learn some more from our guests, right, today about how maybe I can plug in there.
Well, they don't pay you or our educators enough for all of the extra service you do on your paycheck to get your paycheck. So it does definitely count. Amber, I know you're serving.
Yeah, I just ran a food drive, and I am now in my United Way capital campaign period. But also, I am just taking people out and kayaking that have never kayaked or never thought that they could have the opportunity to kayak, or that just need to have community. And I'm taking them, and we're going, and it's fun. The lady I brought recently, she was so intent on doing it, but then also so terrified. And the ripple that she has had bringing people in and like making a community for people. I'm 64. It's past time for me to be able to do this. I'm like, no, it's not. Come on, let's go.
Oh, well, sure. Sign me up.
Yeah,
right.
no one's drowned.
That gave me a little permission there.
Oh, I had an 83-year-old in the kayak.
Oh, yeah. Too old.
Yeah.
I love
it.
Yeah.
Jamie, you're constantly in service.
You know what? I think my this summer I poured a lot into my family this summer, but it doesn't take away from the foundations that I really hold close. My favorite organizations in St. Louis, I absolutely adore Urban Sprouts Child Development Center, where we help them close the gap of providing quality education to our future, and 314 Day. And it seems like 314 Day is just one day out of the year, but that foundation is really doing the work to promote St. Louis all year long. And so those are the things, is pouring into those babies, and those really pouring into the teachers and the staff and the amazing team that pour into those babies. And really St. Louis. I mean, when I give back, I think about St. Louis, and I think about all of the great things that the city has to offer. And I'm a champion for this region.
Absolutely. Yes, you are. Well, for me, you know, I'm championing women. And so it's Tenfinity season again, raising our life and levels to their greatest potential. This time we're going back to school with Maryville University and Maryville Works to focus on poise, power, and purpose.
Well, it's perfect because our guest today is a Maryville alum. So that brings it to full circle.
Absolutely.
I love that.
And complete. Red circle targeted. Absolutely. So that we are in service, this conversation will be no different. We'll take a quick break, but get ready, because service will be served in full supply. We have with us the executive director of A Red Circle. And when you find out what that means, it's going to touch your heart. A nonprofit organization. She's joining us here about their exceptional year in just a moment. So stay with us.
Queen is just my everything.
His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge. My landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. Let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. Joining us today is a dynamic woman, passionate about seeing the community she was born and raised in thrive. She is the founder and executive director of A Red Circle, nonprofit organization focused on 3 areas: education, community wellness, and the arts. A Red Circle works for the betterment of North St. Louis through a racial equity lens, Please help us welcome Erica R. Williams. Erica, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So the neighborhood you were born and raised in
Yes.
looks quite different today, but you're bringing something key back from what you remember. Bring us through what inspired you to start this organization.
Absolutely. So I was raised in the Normandy School District area, went to elementary school in the district, and then we moved, and I went to Catholic school for a little bit. Then we moved again and went to the Ferguson-Florissant School District. At that time, we had grocery stores and restaurants and entertainment venues and places for us to go as children. And now all of that's gone. All of that's gone. And so we're working really, really hard to bring things back to the region so that families can thrive and enjoy living there and raising families there.
How do you want to do that? I'm sorry. How do you want to do that? What is your approach?
Yes, so our approach is 3 focus areas: community wellness, education, and the arts. For the wellness piece, we're working on enhancing the healthy food lens in the region. And so we have an urban farm, we have 2 growing spaces, and then we're also working on a grocery store and licensed production kitchen for chef entrepreneurs.
Wow.
And then in the arts, we do things like shows and arts and crafts days. We have a building in the city of Ferguson where we bring children and families in to do arts and crafts. It's so fun. It's so fun. I don't get to do it all myself, but when I do get to go, it's really fun. Yeah. And then in the education space, we work in the school district of Ferguson-Florissant. And then we also work on education policy to work on some of that deeper education stuff.
Sounds a lot wider than just a circle.
I didn't know how you ended up with the name.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So I was working as a paralegal at a law firm in Clayton. And I was just kind of, raising my family, loving my husband, living the dream.
Okay.
And in 2014, Michael Brown Jr. was killed in the city of Ferguson. We just commemorated the 10-year anniversary of that. And I live in the city of Florissant, right next door. So stuff was happening all around me. And I was like, we're still talking about race and discrimination and segregation in 2014.
With tanks coming down your street.
How is that? How is that still possible? I was in a bubble. And so I began to really think about my role in breaking the bubble and enhancing, the work that needs to happen in our neighborhoods. And so I began to do some research and networking and work on public policy in the background and go to college to get my PhD, and all these cool things were happening. And one class for my PhD had to be
They
starting.
weren't happening. You were making them happen.
Yeah.
It was happening.
Yes.
You were putting
I
in
was
the
making
work.
some things happen.
You were making,
Yes.
yes.
That's right.
And I had to create a mock nonprofit. And so my mock nonprofit was called His Hands and Feet. It was going to be faith-based, thinking about the hands and feet of Jesus. His hands, short-term, needs, food drives, coat drives. His feet, long-term needs. Why is there no food? Why are children still struggling to get coats? And so I really began to think about doing this in my spare time. And I went online for the Secretary of State's website, and that name was already taken. There is a nonprofit organization in the state of Missouri called His Hands and Feet.
Interesting.
And so I was on my lunch hour one day, just kind of walking around thinking about what I call the interconnection of systems. How you need schools and jobs and safety and all these things. And I was making this motion with my hand, and it was a circle. And I was like, thinking about race and racism, segregation, but we all bleed red. We're all connected through humanity and through more that we have similar than that we have different. Than just skin tone.
Yeah.
And so the name A Red Circle.
All right.
So then I didn't run back, but in my mind, I ran back to my office and looked up that name, and it wasn't taken. So I incorporated a nonprofit.
Bullseye.
There you go.
A bull. Yeah. I like this.
You've had this for less than 10 years, but we met pre-COVID.
Yes.
In the space of Maryville University, where you graduated from. And one of the things I have to say, your passion with this it's if you read about the red circle, if you read about a red circle, and if you think about what you've doing, it feels like you've been around for 20 years, right? Because the work you've doing and the impact and the support that you have given. Talk about how you've been received with corporations, with elected officials, with the community. It has really poured back into what you're doing, and I don't think that's because of luck. I really think that's because of the work that you're doing and how people believe
Because you are making
in the
it
project.
happen.
Thank you,
Right?
thank you. That's gonna be my new slogan for the day.
Yeah.
I'm making it happen.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, it's been interesting. You know, one thing that I think about the work that I do is what I call very hyper local. So you think about like concentrated dosage. They're smaller, but since it's concentrated, you get a bigger impact. So that's how we focus on. We focus on 12 zip codes, literally 12 zip codes. I get asked all the time, do you do? No. Will you go? No.
Okay.
I'll share with anyone, anywhere around the country who wants to duplicate, replicate my efforts. That's not a problem. But a red circle focuses right here
Exactly.
in North St. Louis
Laser
County.
focus.
Yeah.
Talk about this farmhouse.
Oh, yes. We just got the keys about a week and a half ago now.
Okay.
So we started a farm in Pine Lawn at the height of the pandemic. So it's been added to every year in phases. We've been able to grow close to 2,000 pounds of food there every year. And we do something called Good Food Fridays, where anyone can come to our farm on Fridays from 3 to 5 and get a beautiful bag of freshly picked, chemical-free produce. The best out there. And recipes, and you get to get a cooking demo of sorts. Our teaching specialist would do something special on site. And so the farmhouse, there was a house next door to the farm. The farm was vacant land. We took the vacant land and turned it into this farm with all kinds of really cool things.
Wow.
Chickens.
Chickens, yes. Bees.
Yeah. Your bees too?
Yes, yes.
But we're talking
But we were-
Pine Lawn.
Pine Lawn, right
Like,
at the
don't
edge
let
of
the
city
good
and county.
name, exactly. Don't let
Right at
the
the edge of
green name fool you. Like,
And
it
the
is.
county, it is disinvested. It has been disinvested. That was one of the reasons I grew up near there. And so in the Normandy School District area. And so
Yeah.
that was one of the places I really wanted to bring something, to the region.
Not just something, opportunity.
Opportunity,
advancement.
not charity. That's our
Amber is
motto.
getting her right
One of our
today.
mottos. And so the farmhouse, there was a house next to the farm. And we have been trying for years to get water access to the farm. But it's really difficult in the county.
Interesting.
There's a fire hydrant right there, but we can't tap to the fire hydrant like
No.
you can in St. Louis City. It's so different. It's so different. And so then we tried to tap into the street to get a hydrant. But because of COVID and the pandemic and the whole influx of workers and the ordinances with St. Louis County, it's just kind of a mess.
My
And there was a
goodness.
house there. It was vacant from the time that we got the farm. I said, you know what, I'm going to buy this house. And we're going to get the water access from that house. So we bought the house, tore it down, built a brand new, beautiful structure. It's red, of course.
Yes, I love it.
We
Yes.
call it the Little Red Farmhouse.
I love
And then we put on a big commercial kitchen on the backside so we can do teaching.
Amazing.
So we grow food from around April.
This is in Pine Lawn.
This is in Pine Lawn on Hamilton.
Yes.
it. I love
So we grow food from April through October. But if you're in a food desert, food swamp, you need food in the wintertime also.
Yeah.
So we're going to teach about canning
There we go.
and preserving.
Yes.
There we go.
Let's build a greenhouse. I'm in.
A greenhouse, all of it.
Yeah, I'll bring
All
the
of
chickens.
it.
We'll do a
So
greenhouse.
when you said the passion and the way to connect
I see why.
ignites,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're all ready.
I'm
to-
invested.
Exactly. We're
Yeah.
all ready to jump in, but we do need to take a quick break. But stay with us. When we return, we'll have more with Dr.
Yes, thank you.
Erica R.
Almost.
Williams,
Okay.
founder and executive director of A Red Circle with a Little Red Farmhouse. Stay with us.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. We've been chatting with a Red Circle founder and executive director, Erica R. Williams. Erica, there's another project, the former Hathaway Hills Shopping Center, which is a monumental project. Can you share about this new hub and how it will serve as a catalyst for your economic initiatives?
Yeah, so it's in the city of Bellefonte neighbors.
Okay.
Right at Jennings Station Road and 367, not too far from the Circle.
Yeah.
And we're going to open a community-driven grocery store and healthy food bistro, calling it Bistro on the Boulevard. And a production kitchen for chefs who produce products so they can get their products into our store and into other retail spaces. So farmers who may grow an abundance of peppers, maybe they know how to make dried pepper flakes or hot sauce. They can come in there and make it, label it, bottle it, get it into our store, People's Harvest, or get it into other retail stores so that we can increase their entrepreneurship ecosystem activities. There's cold storage there. There's also space for the community so we can teach the community about cooking and nutrition. And if people want to come in and teach banking, credit, finance, how to enroll in college and do your FAFSA and all those cool things, that space is all going to be right there in that space. We're calling it the North County Community Nexus, the Nexus of Health and Wealth.
Very nice, very nice.
You know, it's you mentioned it's been 10 years, a decade. 7. Okay. And so I think about what you've done in 7, but then I think, you know what's going to happen, you all, is it's going to be maybe in 10 or 17 years with Red. Some people are going to be saying this has happened because of what Erica did with Red Circle, right?
Yes.
Because so have you seen some of the implementation and the progress that you've wanted to see in these 7 years, or do you still talk to me about the trajectory, right?
Yeah.
And the long game.
So I saw some more initially.
Okay.
The pandemic really derailed stuff. That was 4 years of not doing any of the initial things that we started doing. But what it did do, we were able to pivot and we were able to get really close to the community with groceries and PPE and hygiene products, cleaning supplies, resources, someone just to talk to ward off the isolation effect that people were dealing with. So that kind of helped turn a little bit about what we initially started to do, because we were going to do economic development strictly.
Okay.
Jobs, opportunities, entrepreneurship, business. But it kind of helped us kind of soften it a little bit, realizing that the need was actually greater than just lack of opportunities. It was still, we don't have food. We can't afford food.
It's very social.
We don't even know all the time where our food comes from because we've never seen it grown. You know, kids get chicken nuggets shaped like dinosaurs in the stores and at their school lunches. So to see a chicken with the feathers, you know, that's a piece of the education. So that's why the one side of our work is farmer support. We have tractors and walk behind tractors and a refrigerated trailer to transport food safely so that our farmers can grow more food. But then on this other side, we have our chefs and our production folks who are going to be making money and able to scale their businesses so that we can enhance the food system within the region.
How do you coordinate all of that?
My phone.
Technology says today.
Quite a few email addresses on my phone.
Okay.
2 phones.
There we are.
One personal phone that's just, family, friends, and then the work phone.
Yeah.
It's sacred.
You know what? I think that's a really good takeaway for me, right? You don't resent yourself, your work.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Keeping them separate. Well, that's a
Keep
great
them very separate. And I have an amazing team.
thing.
I have an amazing
There we go.
team, from my husband to the folks who work for a Red Circle, the board, people in the community, elected officials like you had asked about earlier. I mean, we get a lot of support from advisors and just people who I get the chance to meet. And we may not do a whole lot of stuff, but they'll say something like, I got chickens for your barn.
It's because you're such a wise you're out there and you're passionate about it and you're making a difference. So of course people want to contribute to you.
This is community
You're someone who's making an impact.
Vision is what will drive that. Vision is what attracts people, helps you be able to execute and coordinate all that. You mentioned one more part about the vision, the key principles, and one of those is arts.
Yes.
Will you tell us about your SAFE program?
Yes. So SAFE is actually Student Advocates for Education. That's
Yes.
our educational program.
Oh, yes. Okay.
In the school district. We actually go into classrooms and work with children, 5th grade and under, to help them regulate their
Emotions.
central nervous system, emotions.
Yeah.
We help, with basic needs. Sometimes families are just needing food. Someone to pay the light bill and things like that. And so we help provide with those types of things so that students can come to school ready to learn.
Yes.
And we get them tutoring with reading and math and all those types of things. And then we are able to take those experiences to Jefferson City and to school board meetings.
There you are.
And to help push good education policy. It's been a little challenging what's happening, but we keep working on it.
Right. Because there's a challenge within the schools that you're serving.
Yes.
And if they're having trouble functioning,
with
how
that,
do you
with
create
funding,
a function exactly?
That's a big thing.
Within
We're in an area that has a lot of Title I funding from the Department of Education.
Yes.
And so we're really working, as hard as we can to give families everything that they need,
Sure.
so that their children can be the best that they can be, in a very disinvested area. And then with the arts, we have a building in Ferguson. We call it the Creative Spot, and it's space where in the summertime we partner with STL Youth Jobs.
Oh, great!
They send us teenagers, young adults, and for their summer job, they are creating music, videos, arts and crafts projects. And then they take those projects and go into the community and work with the little kids so that they can, come out of their teenageness and actually show that they can make a difference.
I love that. I love how you're working with the entire family, that SAFE program. Because one of the things when you talk about preventative and violence and safety in our communities, it's really a lot of the things that we've been seeing on the news are really stem from people not being able to manage their emotions.
Absolutely.
And so, or food insecurity or the need. And so you really are solving those things, showing the arts, answering that food insecurity question or concern in families. But that SAFE program, are they coming to you or are you in particular schools? How does that work?
We're in particular schools in the district. Right now it's Ferguson, Florissant. Pre-COVID, we were also in Hazelwood, but we have not returned to that district yet. We're trying to expand the program, and we'll also be talking with the Riverview Garden School District. This school year for next school year. So we're always trying to be a year in advance.
Absolutely.
It's above and below and far and wide and in and out. There's so many aspects in creating a holistic service and provision. I want to toss you this one for the support that is yet to come. What does taking care of these basic necessary needs do? What difference does that make when people don't have to worry about all these things? Because now you're thinking years ahead and you're thinking all the food and you're thinking this worry, that worry. With those from the table, what is the outcome? Or maybe they need to understand what is the cost to us as a community as a whole if we don't. Right.
Yeah, I can answer that several different ways.
Okay.
One way is helping people thrive in their giftedness. There are people who have so many talents and gifts, they're unable to work towards those because they're trying to just keep the children fed. So we can help meet those basic needs. Right now, I have, like I had mentioned, our farmer support program. So for our program, farmers have to have insurance, business insurance, to rent our stuff. There are some farmers who can't afford insurance. So we'll be looking at, creative ways to help them become insured so they can borrow our stuff and grow more food.
Yeah, sometimes their skills are growing stuff, but not the paperwork behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
So you have to find a good partnership.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I love that what you're doing with the kitchen. That is amazing. Can we talk about that? So will they be able to come in to just make their product, but they also get the support services?
Absolutely.
Wow.
This is going to be an entrepreneurship
wraparound.
ecosystem. Business planning, Safe Surf certifications, even help with marketing, how to take a picture of your product and how to position it.
Oh my.
So that, because we want these,
so well thought out.
Yeah.
Someone was well thought out about that.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
I really just love what I get to do. I am so blessed. And everything that was downloaded into me came from family, friends, co-workers, former supervisors, former teachers, the ancestors, one of my ancestors is my late Uncle Damu Smith. He was an environmental justice activist in DC.
See.
And he was one of the first Black environmental justice activists who marched for Cancer Alley. He marched with Jesse Jackson to really fight against injustice with air pollution and water pollution all over the country, all over the world.
Yeah.
And so being able to tap into his spirit
That's right.
really
That's right.
fuels the work that I do.
Absolutely.
And I'm blessed to be a blessing.
Yeah, and we are the beneficiaries
Yes.
of that blessing, and you are so uniquely qualified to see the big picture
Thank you.
at also a
vibe.
microscopic and nano level. So that is definitely why I think the success is there and why we are so excited to have had you on.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you.
Erica, joining us today, we're so thankful, and we're going to make sure we continue to support A Red Circle, and we hope that you do too. For more information, I'm sure there's lots of room for you to jump in. Visit aredcircle.org. So stay with us. Of course, there's more Let's Talk when we return.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Oh my goodness, ladies, what a powerhouse Erica R. Williams is. All those things, and they're
amazing.
actually getting done. Like, it's one thing, so we can talk to someone and they say, we're striving, we're planning to. These were all, this is what we accomplished. This is where we've gone. Here's what we've built.
And of course she's getting the support because the mission and the focus is there, right? And it's just those zip codes and it's that area, and it goes deep for her, right? And then I'm gonna just start walking around like this now, red circle, right? Like, ooh, just all the things, full circle.
I love it.
Yeah.
Right?
I love how humble she was. She was like, "Oh, it's happening." No, you are making it happen.
It's happening.
She's like, "It's happening."
You were pouring into her. I need that. That was some good energy, Amber.
She's just like, "Yeah, it's happening." No, like,
Because you're like, don't take that for granted. Take up the
It
space.
seemed like it just rolled in, and for a newer nonprofit, 7 years, so the
Right.
majority of her time was spent during COVID. I remember her coming into our office that I shared with a colleague and introduced me to her and was talking about how she had just started this new thing, right? And it seems like, and I don't know if I knew how new it was, but you don't really realize, she said 7 years.
Right.
A Red Circle has done some amazing work. They've done what some organizations haven't been able to do in 20 years, and not because they didn't want to do them.
and she did it during a pandemic, 2 floods,
right.
getting her
Absolutely.
PhD.
Right.
So when people come in, they say they're going to do this, right? Don't you just kind of go, oh, I pray for you, I hope for you, because and then when you see what she's doing, you go, thank goodness it's working, and thank goodness it's working. But it is because of her. And I forgive the comparison, but I think about the Loop. You know, you think Joe Edwards, like and that neat city county kind of vibe. This is Erica Williams is going to be that North County corridor. We're going to be saying Erica Williams was the catalyst that made all that happen and revitalized that.
Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
here I am thinking, well, Wellston was a jaw dropper. Pine
Lawn,
Lawn,
yeah.
was a jaw dropper. And then she says, also.
Yeah.
And
Right.
It
The
doesn't end, but that's really
Right.
is what a circle is. It's never ending. There are no corners. There is no point of entrance.
See?
It is really full circle, and that's really what she's doing. She's doing the work that our community deserves.
Right.
And if North County wins, I always say our region wins.
Yes.
Yeah. And then it goes back to, like she said, this is where she was born and raised. She has this spirit running through her veins through ancestry, and then we are all going to be the beneficiary. So it's time to jump in and be a
she's
blessing to be a blessing
She's
too.
empowering people.
Man, it's
She's
right.
taking her power to empower others.
See, got enough for us all. Right. Well, we are out of time, unfortunately, and I love talking to y'all. We'd like to thank again our guest, founder and executive director, Erica R. Williams, and thank you at home for joining us as well. Well, the show might be over, but you can always hang out with us on social media, or you can visit us on YouTube, or just hang out at stltv.net for all of the above. I'm Jade Harrell for Amber Clear, Ivy Hartman, and Jamie Valentine Dolby. We'll see you next time on Let's Talk.